So Arteta's gone and done it. Arteta's gone and make us proud as Gunners fans. And I've been screaming out from the top of the mountain. I've been screaming out from the top of my lungs that this guy, our manager, Mikel Arteta, is going to be the best in the world. And I said I gave him 3 years. Last year, I gave him 3 years. I've been saying that since the first half season I've seen him for Arsenal. But since last year, I said I'm going to give him 3 seasons to overtake Pep, to overtake Klopp, and to get us back to winning ways, winning the Premier League and the Champions League within 3 years. And so far, he has not let me down. And yes, we had a few hiccups. We had a few hiccups in results. But overall, he's been superb. He's been splendid. Look at this. Now we see he's mentioned with the greats. Well, some of the greats. I don't know what Brendan Rodgers is doing there. But anyways, he's been mentioned with some of the greatest managers in the world, right? And this is what I've been saying. I've been screaming this from a very long time. Now, these are managers who have been in every club they've faced. And we see the Arteta with number 24. Smashing teams. Pep was his Achilles heel. Man City was his Achilles heel, and now he got over that. So you know that it's only back to winning ways. It's only to winning ways. It's only the only way is up right now. The only way is up, and I see this manager is gonna be a brilliant manager for years to come. Because even Pep saying it, that listen, Arsenal's got a very good manager for years to come because he loves the club. So it's not just that he's a very good tactician. It's not that he's a very young manager, but he loves the club. So with all this in mind, and he's got a young squad, so you know that we're building up, we're setting up for future success. And for me, I'm excited. Not just the fact that we beat City, but the fact that we haven't beat City in 8 years in the Premier League. So we broke our ducks, beating City, right? And also, I don't care if people might say it's a weak in City. We are weak as well. If you watched my previous video yesterday, you saw that I thought that we were weak. I don't care what anyone might say, or you beat a weak. I don't care about what your thoughts are, mate, because we had a weak team as well. And also now we see that Bukayo Saka, I thought that Teta done basically pull one over on the England camp. I thought he pulled one over because it was a thing like, I believe that this was the conversation between him and Gareth Southgate. Mate, you can't be playing Saka in City, right? And then when he comes for international, you're going to say he's injured. So I believe that Arteta, I thought that Arteta took the risk to leave Saka out. He took the risk to leave him out just to show England that, listen, he's not fit. And my initial thoughts when I was thinking that is that that's a very big risk. And I didn't put it past Arteta because he's a big risk taker, right? That was my initial thought. But then I saw the news today that England camp basically said that the medical staff declared him unfit. They claim that he's not fit to join the camp. But they're hoping that he will be fit on Tuesday. So, well, potentially he was really injured against the City clash. But I still wouldn't put it past Arteta to do something like that because he's that type of guy, right? He's honest, but he's very, very technically strategic. And he's brave enough to do something like that to risk. Because we see that Saka has been our main player for 3 years straight, non-stop. And Martinelli is a close second, or arguably is some people's best player, right? But one thing I don't want to hear is that Tottenham is on the same level as us right now. We might be on the same points, we might be on the same goal difference, but they're not on our level. Man, look at this. These guys have beaten Luton, Burnley, Bournemouth, and Sheffield in those unbeaten run that they're on right now, right? They've beaten these teams. The only team we're faced in this is Bournemouth. So they've most of the teams they've played are in the relegation zone, right? Most of these teams they face are in the relegation zone. So I don't see how these guys can be bigging up their chest. And another thing is that I've seen them play, and they've played good. But you can see that that's their best. They're playing at their best. They're playing at their peak right now. That's what I believe. Because Maddison is going to pull up. Maddison is just typical Maddison to get injured at some point in the season. And without Maddison, they're going to crumble. It's typical for Song as well to pull up. Without Song, they're going to crumble. There's no depth there, especially in the centre forward area. Richarlison, he ain't good. He's not good. And they need a better striker. So, for me, if they have one injury, they're one injury short of a crisis, in my opinion. Now, when you see Arsenal, we're basically playing a minus of what we're normally playing. So we're in minus and we're still unbeaten in the league. Imagine when we start to click. Imagine when Bukayo Saka, because Saka, even though he's been good in the matches he's played, not good, he's been racking up good numbers, he's not been his best. Martinelli, he's not been playing, he's been injured. Thomas Partey, he's not been playing. He played for the first 2 matches, then he got injured. So when all these players, when all these players come back, and I believe Timber is going to come back early next year, but forget about Timber for now. When all the other players get back to match fitness and all the teams start to click and we start to play our normal formation, imagine what's going to happen then. So I don't want to hear no one say that, listen, we beat Manchester City with 2 of our best players not on best. Basically one of them were missing and the other one came on us in the second half. And Partey as well, one of our best midfielder, our second best midfielder, came on in the second half as well because he's not match fit. So we beat City with a squad like this. Can you imagine what we're going to do when we're starting to go up gears? I believe that we have about 5 more gears to go. We're on minus right now. I believe that we have 5 more gears to go up. So this was the formation, and there was a few surprises on both sides for me. If you in my match preview, I said that if I was Pep Guardiola, I would start Rico Lewis. I would start him in the base of midfield. So now we see Gabriel at left back. I thought Ake would play left back, but anyways, they're both centre backs, so it's not a big surprise there. And Phil Foden and left Alvarez, and right now, when it comes down to Arsenal, I didn't see this coming. I didn't see Nketiah starting, right? I thought that Kai Havertz would be playing up centre forward and Nketiah would be on the bench. And also, I didn't see Zinchenko playing once again but then again, I understand why Zinchenko played, because in my prediction, in my formation that I made, I didn't show it, but in my formation that I made, I had basically Declan Rice and Partey together, and that's why we play Zinchenko, because both these guys are defensive minded, both the midfield are defensive minded, so they will be able to cover Zinchenko if he got caught out of position. Now look at this. It's been a very long time since City have been overwhelmed like this. We had 12 shots to their 4. City had 4 shots for the whole match, and that shows you how brilliant our defense was. They had 4 shots and none on target. I believe that this is the worst match. I think Pep, I saw a stat yesterday. I think it's the worst match Pep has had in terms of shots and shots on target since he's been in the Premier League. I think that was a stat, right? Now we see that we had 49 possession to City 51. Once again, this is brilliant because Man City is one of the best team in the world in terms of passes, in terms of possession. Man City with Barcelona, right? Well, the old Barcelona. I want to talk about the new Barcelona. So Man City right now for me is the best team in terms of possession. And we went toe to toe with them. They've only scraped by 1. That's a very good stat for me. When I saw that, I was like, wow. We done well. We had more shots, and we had more. We had 1% less possession, and for me, that's great. When it comes down to passes, we had 514 passes, completing 438. They had 536, completing 457. Once again, we're very close. Normally, when we play against City, we've completed like 200 and something pass, and only got 200 completed, but this is what I'm saying. Arteta's starting to play different. He's starting to adapt his gameplay. It's not Fast and Furious anymore. It's not Fast and Furious 1, Fast and Furious 2, Fast and Furious 3. It's more of a calm, relax, right? It's a chess game. It's not for who's fastest, who score first. It's about who can endure, right? It's about endurance. And Arteta figured out that playing City most of the time, this is how they play. This is why they always have most possession and they always have the most passes. And when they see vulnerabilities, they attack that vulnerabilities. That's why sometimes you see them scoring 5 and 6s, because they attack the vulnerabilities. So Arteta was probing until finally later on, Martinelli saw that. And it's not just Martinelli, it's the way we were set up. That the substitution were key. Kai Havertz coming on. Now, this is a type of play we've been missing. We've been missing a focal point since Oliver Giroud left. Since Oliver Giroud left, we haven't had a focal point. And when I see Giroud go to AC Milan and been like pulling up trees in Milan, It's been absolutely awesome. And I started to think, man, we could have done with that because we never had a proper striker. Yeah, we had Lacazette, we had Aubameyang, but they're not a proper striker. Lacazette for me is more of a false nine sometimes the way he plays. But Giroud is great in the air. He's great at peeling off. He's great at running behind. He hasn't got the best pace, but so neither does Lacazette, right? So I believe that we've done a disservice to Giroud getting rid of him. And we've never been able to replace a tall striker like him. We had Shamak back in the days as well, even though Shamak is garbage. He was good at holding up the ball, basically beating spinning behind, good in the air, even though it doesn't really normally score any goals. But for me, Shamak, we always had a tall player in recency, apart from that period that we were playing with Lacazette and Aubameyang. So I believe we needed this. We need this. Basically, it's an additional way we can play in order to get results. And for me, I'm all for that, because then this is what the great strategists do, the great tacticians. You have to have the right pieces. Even if you're not going to use it that time, even though you're not going to start with it, you have to have the right pieces at the right time, right, to make a bad outcome a more preferable outcome. So earlier on, I talk about the defense, right? We had our defense was superb. I remember the time when they were both when I remember Holland and Saliba chasing for the ball, shoulder bulge. Saliba gave him a shoulder bulge. Man went flying. He went flying all over the place, right? That's how strong our centre back is. And it's not just Saliba. Gabriel is just as strong, even more aggressive than Saliba. So the reason why we limited them to only 4 shots in the game and none on target is because of our defense. Don't get it wrong. Now, look at the clearance. Saliba had 2, Gabriel had 0. So that's Saliba 1 up. Interception and tackles, Saliba had 2, Gabriel had 1. But when it comes down to block shots, Gabriel had 1, Saliba had none. Interception, Gabriel had 3, Saliba had none. So you see that they complement each other. No clearance for Gabriel, but he blocked shots, which Saliba didn't do. No interception for Saliba, but Gabriel had 3, so they covered each other. Both having tackles, with Gabriel Magalhaes having 1, William Saliba having 2. So far it's 2-2, right? When you go down to position loss now, ground duels, they're both the same, because they won 2 ground duels each and they won 2 aerial duels each. So that's a draw across the board. Now, possession loss, Saliba lost position less than Gabriel Magalhaes. Gabriel Magalhaes lost position 5 times, but you have to take that with a pinch of salt, because Gabriel Magalhaes was more basically on the ball more for me. He was on the ball more, trying to dictate and play more. Not in terms of touches, right? Saliba had more touches. As we go down, we see Saliba had 76 touches and Magalhaes had 66. But the way they played, Gabriel played more risky, and I will show you why. Now, passes, we see Saliba had a 99% pass. That's very high for a defender, even though it was most times to David Raya and people around him. And I'm going to show you as well why. But we see that he had 69 out of 70, while Gabriel Magalhaes, so he won that as well. Gabriel Magalhaes having completing 54 passes out of 59, which is a 92%, still very high. And I'll show you why it's more impressive. The passing of Gabriel, even though it's lower, is still more impressive than Saliba. So even though I gave this to Saliba, the risk and the type of passes, I would rather give this to Gabriel. So far is 5-2 to Saliba, but I would say 5-3, because I will give Saliba Gabriel Magalhaes the passes I'll show you why. And then long balls, we see that Gabriel had 6 completing 2. So once again, he won that, because Saliba only had 1 long ball and he didn't complete it. So if we give Gabriel Magalhaes the passes, then it will be 4-4. But if we don't, it's going to be 5-3. And I would personally give it to him. So for me, that's a draw in terms of who played better, who's the better defender. And I'm going to try do this more frequently, because people have been shouting praises for William Saliba, and rightly so. But we need to start understand that Gabriel is just as good in most matches, or even better in most matches. Because we can see Gabriel got even bigger ratings than Saliba, right? So it's not the fact that so sometimes we are partial in our judgment, because we love Saliba. sometimes we're partial or impartial in our judgment. Now, when we take a look at the average possession, it's similar, right? These are similar, both in before the substitution, after the substitution. However, we see that there's a clear difference when it comes down to the striking role, right? And in the second half, we see Tomiyasu came on and played right beside Martinelli. So it's more of a open match. We see Tomiyasu and Martinelli playing together 11 and 18, and we see Rice, we see Jesus and Odegaard playing together on that side, and it's Gabriel and Martin Odegaard play the same way, just like Odegaard play with Saka most of the time. They just swap places with the number 9 with number 7 of Saka. So Nketiah kept coming back in midfield to help out midfield, but when Havertz came on, he went up top and be the vocal point for the team. And this is what I'm saying, that sometimes we need players like this, two players to go up top and be the vocal point for our keeper, so he can hit the ball long. And we see that it worked very good in this match, because even Pep had to identify that, listen, Arsenal done brilliant, and David Raya done brilliant, because he was passing short and he was going long. Now, these were the 5 best players in the match for both teams. So we see Ben White had a superb match, and this is why I told you yesterday I would give him my man of the match. He had 6 duels, winning 4. He had 87% passing accuracy, passing 4, getting 4 completed out of, getting 40 completed out of a possible 46. Then we see Declan Rice coming in second, Gabriel Martinelli coming third, even though he was on for like about 45 minutes the second half, and then Phil Foden coming fourth, and then Gabriel Magalhaes coming after. So we see that Gabriel Magalhaes is still in the top 5, right? We don't see William Saliba. So this is what I'm saying. We have to identify that Magalhaes had a wonderful match, a superb. I hear everyone saying Saliba, singing Saliba's song. What about Gabriel? I haven't heard Gabriel's song, and I'm gonna be one of the advocates of Gabriel Magalhaes, because I see his greatness, I see his brilliant, and I don't believe he's getting the just credit he deserves. So I'm gonna be one of his main supporter this season and future seasons to come. I'm gonna be singing his praises. I'm gonna be talking about him more than I am William Saliba, because everyone understands William Saliba is good. But what about Gabriel Magalhaes? And yes, one of the reasons could be because he's younger, right? To be honest, the age gap is a big age gap when it comes down to their quality, because their quality are similar, but the age gap is quite significant, because I think Magalhaes is about 24 right now, while William Saliba is about 21, 22. So the age gap is different, is quite big when you look at it that way. Now, when you look at the field tilt, we control the match. We had 65% of the field tilt. We see only in these little phases, these 2 little phases, or two and a quarter phase, we see City have a look-in, right, having that 4 shot. But throughout the whole match, we control the match. This is what I'm saying. Arteta was playing chess today, and he smacked Pep. He absolutely destroyed Pep, right? And for me, it's well deserved. A long time coming, because people have been saying he's Pep cone man. He used to be taking up cones for Pep, and some disrespectful thing about my manager. And I've got the receipts. I've been arguing with people about this, about Arteta, saying that he's going to be the best in the world soon. So either we, for us as fans, accept him now, or he's going to go somewhere else and still be the best manager in the world. And I know he will. Now, I'm not saying I'm the only fan that was saying it, but at that time it felt like I was one of the 1% of the Arsenal fans saying that. But I'm thankful and I'm happy that he's fulfilling the faith I've put in him, right? So yeah, man, I can't really say much about Arteta. He's been absolutely awesome, right? Since he's joined Arsenal. Yes, he had a few shaky moments, but every manager have shaky moments. I believe Ten Hag is a very good manager. Look at Ten Hag. I believe Pochettino is a very good manager. Look at Chelsea. You spending over £1 billion. Look at Chelsea. So you can't use a few match to judge a career, or judge the character, or to judge the future progress, or the future potential, or the future of a manager. You can't use too much or few match to judge him. Now, these are the passing lanes, right? So we see, as what I was saying, that in the previous match, there was no connection between the left wing and the striker. And even in this match, there's only 2 between Declan Rice and Nketiah, and between Declan Rice and Nketiah, and between Jorginho and Nketiah. Apart from that, Odegaard didn't pass to Nketiah, Jesus didn't pass to Nketiah, no one else apart from these 2 passes. to Nketiah. And even so, the switch of play, right? I don't see Trossard switching to Odegaard or Jesus. It's like everyone stayed on their side and play on their side. There was no interchange. Only at the back you see them interchanging and switching the ball. But when it comes up to, and I don't like to see this, I want to see. But now it could be a thing from Arteta because it's been for the last few matches that we didn't see. One of them was very bad. Like the top four didn't pass to each other. The top four that's playing in advanced position, in attacking position, didn't pass it to each other. Now there was a stat of Gabriel Magalhaes, right? There was a stat of Gabriel Magalhaes that said basically he's the one that passed the most in certain areas. He's the one that passed the most in certain areas, long ball. And the long balls they passed was very, very, very dangerous. It led to not shots, but it led to a few opportunities, some potential opportunities that we could have had a shot on goal if certain players weren't being selfish, like Gabriel Jesus naming one is always selfish. But this is why I said I would give it to Gabriel Magalhaes, because he done a lot of long passes. He takes more chances, more risks on the ball, more risky passes. So this is why his accuracy might be down, because he takes more risk in his passes. Saliba plays safe, and I am happy for that, because we need a player that plays safe, and we need another player that is brave, and that's Magalhaes. So all in all, I believe it was a superb performance, and I love the fact that we were playing chess, we were playing City, we beat City at their game, right? So for me, it was a superb match. It was a wonderful match. Guys, make sure you continue to show your support to the team. Show your support to Kai Havertz as well, because we see that when you criticize a player, it's not going to do any good. No, I'm not saying that we can't say basically when he's rubbish or when he does bad, we say he does, call him out on his basically his garbage performance. But when he's having an okay match, give him confidence. Say, okay, Havertz, I see you trying to do your thing. Okay. But don't keep on singing the same thing over. Oh, we shouldn't have signed him. We shouldn't have signed him. It's done already. Let's get over it. Let's move on, man. Because when we do things like this, the players, they see certain negative agenda that we have, and certain negative narratives that the media try to push. And if we are fans starting to jump on these negative narratives that the media is pushing, we're only going to destroy our own team, because most of these people in media saying these things about Havertz, they're not Arsenal fans. They hate Arsenal, and we're just allowing them, or basically partnering with them, to bring our players down when they don't really deserve it. Right, so Havertz had a very good. Well, he didn't have a very good match. I don't want to get carried away, but he done very well considering what he done. He done the small bits very well. All in all the team played very well. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of the boys. Congrats on the win. And congrats to myself being a gunner that's been supporting the team through thick and thin. You know what I mean? And big up to all you fellow gunners out there that's been through the mud, been slapped up. We've been slapped up by the big teams season after season, by City season after season, and we hold on. We kept the faith. We didn't switch, because I know a lot of Arsenal fans start supporting Chelsea, start supporting Man City secretly, right? Secretly, they say, oh, when now we start back to winning ways, they're trying to come back on the bandwagon. I don't want to have those fans. I'm there with the fans that stick through thick and thin. Those are the true loyal Gunners fans, right? So catch you in the next video, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're not already a subscriber, help me on my journey to 100 subs. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and hit the like button. Catch you in the next video, guys. Goodbye.